What's been going on in the YSL case, man? Yo, a lot of people are still saying free Young Thug. A lot of people are still saying Gunna snitched in front of everybody. But here's an even more stranger update. Welcome back to Hot Topics TV, y'all. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on Hot Topics TV. Hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's get into the topic. So, Young Thug's brother, Unfoonk, was sentenced to 9 years in prison for violating his probation. Now, here's a little backstory. Young Thug's brother was in prison before. Young Thug did all he could in his power and more to get his brother out of prison. He finally got his brother out of prison. His brother is back in prison again. As a matter of fact, Unfoonk was one of the people right after everybody else was getting their little deals to say what y'all remember seeing Gunna sit up there in court and the prosecutor asked Gunna, is YSL a gang? And he said yes. And she said, now is it true that you have knowledge of members of this gang committing criminal activities in furtherance of the gang? And he says, yes, ma'am. Y'all remember that? And then right after he gave that little piece to them, he walked out into a Maybach and drove off. Y'all remember that? Okay, Unfoonk got a similar deal as well. And he came out too. And a lot of people were saying, yo, you a sellout. You sold your own brother up the river, man. All y'all turning on Thugger. Well, that didn't last too long. That did not last too long. So here are the details. Because this is in a lot of different entities, news outlets. But I'm going to take this one from Rolling Stone because I find them to be credible. His real name, Quantavious Greer. Quantavious Greer is the brother of Young Thug. He has been sentenced now to 9 years and 6 months in prison. This was just published in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and was broadcasted on WSB TV on Monday. Now, according to WSB TV, Quantavious Greer, otherwise known as Unfoonk, he's 34 years old. He performs under the name Unfoonk. He pleaded guilty in December to violating Georgia's RICO Act and theft by receiving stolen property in connection to the YSL case involving his brother, Young Thug, and other affiliates, members, or alleged members of YSL. Now, as part of his plea deal, Unfoonk was sentenced to 12 years with 2 years commuted and 10 years on probation. That means you get out, right? On May 4th, Greer was arrested again on suspicions of crimes including possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I know Young Thug sitting in there saying, what the why, man? Why? I was down to take the fall for everybody. And you back in here again. Bruh. You know, let me go ahead and say this and get it out of the way before we get in further into the details of this, because the details gets weird. But check it out. At this point, Unfoonk has spent a lot of time in prison, and I'm sure that's not where he wants to go, right? I know you riding around with a stick. I know you live a kind of life where you might have enemies outside. You know the ops is always hunting your head, and you got to protect yourself. But when you looking at this much time in prison, my man, and you just came out of prison not too long ago, you got to stay in the house. You can't be out here in these streets playing. Because that's what led him back to this. I'm going to go over the details for you. But I'm starting to think that right now, Unfoonk might be the one who they need. Because if they squeeze him hard enough, he might just roll over and just give everything when it comes time for his brother, Young Thug, to go before the judge at trial. I'm just saying. Anyhow, according to WSB TV, Unfoonk, who performs under the name Unfoonk, his real name is Quintavious Greer. He performs under the name Unfoonk. He pleaded guilty to violating the Georgia RICO Act and theft by receiving stolen property in connection to the YSL case. That's the case that involves Young Thug and other affiliates. And as part of that deal, he was sentenced to 12 years. I remember when Unfoonk got them 12 years and everybody was like, damn, if they gave him 12 years and they're saying that Young Thug is the leader of all of this, they about to hit Thugger with about 24 years, right? So we thought Unfoonk was gone for 12 years, and he wasn't. The judge says 12 years, 2 commuted, 10 probation. That means you walk out. Even with a 12-year sentence, all you got to do is not do anything else for the next 12 years or the next 10 years since it's 10 years of probation. On May 4th, he was arrested again, this time on suspicion of crimes, including possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, because he got convicted and was sentenced to 12 years, and now you weren't allowed to have a gun in your possession, but they pulled you over and they found one. According to WSB TV, and investigators determined that the artist, who was Unfoonk, he violated the terms of his probation as part of that deal. The same deal that got him out, he violated. The Journal-Constitution reported that Unfoonk's 10-year probation prohibited him from possessing a gun, as well as contacting other defendants in the YSL case, including his brother. He's supposed to have no ties with his blood, Young Thug, until the whole YSL case is over. His plea deal also included 750 hours of community service, and it placed him under a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, meaning you can't be out in the streets past 10 p.m. and you can't leave your house until 6 a.m. Young Thug's brother, Unfoonk, has now been sentenced to 9 years and 6 months in jail. Damn! Now, during Monday's sentencing, Judge Uriel Glanville said that Unfoonk, who is Greer, had failed to pay his $141.08 in probation fees, and he had also failed to start his community service. Oh, hell no. You out here with racks when it comes to money. Racks and racks, thousands of dollars. And you failed to do the basics, bro. You failed to pay $141.08. That's lunch money. And you didn't even start the little community service that they gave you. I would have been down there before they even was supposed to have me down there. I would have been down there volunteering for some shit, because I'm trying to stay out of prison for no damn decade. Well, here he goes. He violated in every way. He didn't pay the money. He didn't show up for the community service. And he damn sure was found riding around with a gun on him. Glanville emphasized, the judge said, that the deciding factor in this sentencing was him being caught with a firearm. Yeah, you could have not went to the community service. We would have dragged you in anyways. We could have worked on that. $141.08. I understand you might have been busy. I understand things might have got confusing, and you thought that it was a fee that somebody else had to pay. It's nothing that we would have sent you to prison for. But Part of the special condition was that you were supposed to never possess a gun. Now, although Greer's attorney, who was Nicole Mormon, requested a probation revocation of 2 years in prison and argued the YSL case was her client's first felony conviction, the judge said, I don't want to hear that shit, and handed down that sentence anyways. 9 years and 6 months. The judge answered his attorney and said, the issue I find aggravating in this particular circumstance are several. You got arrested, young man, with a gun within 6 months of you being placed on probation. Let that sink in. You got arrested with a gun within 6 months of you being placed on probation after you just escaped 12 years in prison. They commuted 2 and they put you on probation for 10. So you didn't have to do any time. But you had a 12-year sentence hanging over your head. And that was not enough to deter you. You're out here riding around with a gun on you, violating those probation terms and conditions just 6 months after. Judge Granville said, all you had to do was complete your probation and do what you were supposed to do, man. Instead, you out here riding around with a gun in your car. Well, where you're going, you won't have a car and you won't have a gun for the next 9.5 years. God damn. You know, stupid is as stupid does. That's all I'm going to say. And you can't fix stupid. I'll leave it right there. Y'all leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. And I'll catch you on the next video. It's Hot Topics TV. I'm out. Peace.